Hello, students. Students, we had already started our chapter kinds of clauses, and we had discussed about the meaning of clause, and we have also discussed about noun clause. And today we will discuss adjective clause. Student, if you really compare to noun clause and adjective clause, you will find that adjective clause is easy to find in the sentence as compared to noun clause. We have already discussed about the meaning of adjective, that adjective describes the or tells something about noun or pronoun. Simply, you can see that about the sentences which are given in your book. Anumeet has a brother who lives in London. First of all, you can learn a few relative pronoun or relative words that always use before adjective clause. Just you can see that who, that, which, whose, when, why, where. So whenever you will get a chance to identify the adjective clause, you will always find noun before these words. Just you can see the example, Anumeet has a brother who lives in London. Now, who lives in London, that is adjective clause. But how do you know that highlighted words are adjective clause? Who, before who, you can see brother. Brother is noun. And I have already told that adjective describes or tells something about noun or pronoun. So we will get any noun before adjective clause, and that clause, adjective clause, always begins with WH family, like who, that, which, whose, when, why, where, all these things. Similarly, in second example, you can also see Sukriti is the girl who helped me with the project. Here who, before who, you can see that who before who is girl, and girl is noun. So you can say that that is adjective clause. In these sentences, you can say that the highlighted clauses act as an adjective. They modify or describe the noun brother and girl, and these are adjective clause. I have already told that you will get before adjective clause one noun. You will get one noun before adjective clause. Second thing, you need to keep in your mind that adjective clause always begin with relative pronouns or relative adverbs, just like who, that, which, whose, when, why, where. You will get with these words that begins the adjective clause. It's very easy to find out the adjective clause in the sentence as compared to noun clause. Now, we will discuss a few more examples. Mr. Ghosh is the architect who designed this building. You can see before who, we got a word architect, and that is a noun. Simply you can say that that is adjective clause. Give me the book which I received as a gift. Which, before which you can see the book, and that book is a noun. The car that you purchase needs a fresh coat of paint. Again, before that you can see car, and car is noun. So it's very easy to find out the adjective clause in the sentence. You need to keep a few things while doing the adjective clause exercises. First of all, you need to remember about the relative pronouns and relative words, and you will get always before this relative pronoun, relative adverb words a noun. You have learned that an antecedent is the noun or pronoun that is being referred to by a relative pronoun. So you will always get a noun before a relative pronoun or relative adverb. So it is so easy to discuss, to tell about adjective clause. Now we will discuss a few omissions of pronouns who, which, and that is relative clauses or adjective clauses. Just a few things you need to keep in your mind while doing the adjective clause. We must use who, which, that if the subject of the verb is the relative clause that read the sentence. Just you can see the example. The watch which had a color dial is missing. Here you can say that which is referring to watch, and which you can say that that is the subject of the verb had. Similarly, you can see that the journalist who wrote this article is very intelligent. Here, who is telling about is referring to journalist, and journalist is the subject of the verb wrote. But if you get these relative clause, if you get the who, which, that is the object of the verb, then you will not use such kind of relative pronouns in the sentence. Just you can see that the painting which Jaya bought was stolen. Here, which is the object of the bought. Here, which is the object of bought. So you can write instead of this way, the painting Jaya bought was stolen. Was stolen. The painting Jaya bought was stolen. So when you get like the words who, which, that is referred to the object of the verb, then you will not use. Then you can write simply the painting Jaya bought was stolen. Then you can leave such kind of who, which, that. So you can leave the relative pronouns, relative adverbs from sentence. Second, relative clause can be two kinds. First of all, the defining or restrictive relative clause, and second one is non-defining or non-restrictive clause. What is defining or restrictive relative clause? Just try to understand. A clause that defines or describes the noun or pronoun being talked about in a sentence is called a defining or restrictive relative clause. So, any kind of clause which is telling something about a noun or pronoun in the sentence, that is called restrictive relative clause. As you can see, he is the man who repairs my car. Now, who is referring to the man? Who is referring to man? So that is a restrictive relative clause or defining clause. Similarly, in the case you can say that if any relative pronoun is referring to the subject, just I have the car which my father gave me on my 20th birthday, which is referring to car, which is referring to car. So any clause that describing about the noun or pronoun in the sentence, talking about in the sentence, is called our restrictive or restrictive relative clause. The second sentence you can see a relative clause that provides just additional information about the noun or the pronoun is called a non-defining relative clause. Similar, you can see in second, if any relative clause is talking about the noun or a pronoun, it means giving some additional information, telling something more about the noun or pronoun, that is called a non-defining relative clause. As you can see, Latika and Lindsay. Now, who are sisters is additional information. We know about this noun, Latika and Lindsay, but we are getting additional information that both these girls are sisters. Who are sisters? Are famous singers. So, whenever you are getting some additional information, getting something detailed about the noun or pronoun of the sentence, then you can say that that is a non-defining relative clause. So, it's very easy to differentiate about the restrictive relative clause and non-defining relative clause. Now we will try to understand about the exercise. We will discuss and we will able to find out the answers. Underline the noun clause in each sentence. State whether it is the subject or the object or the complement of a verb. Mention if it is the object of a profession or it is an opposition to noun or a pronoun. So we have to underline the clause in this sentence, and we have to find out also that that clause is subject, the object or complement of a verb. And if there is a object of reference, then we have to mention, or if it is in opposition to a noun or pronoun, then we have to also mention. So it's very easy to do this exercise. Now we will discuss exercise. Tell me, what do you didn't understand in this lesson? Now we have to identify the noun clause. So you can see what you didn't understand in this lesson is our noun clause, and that is the subject of a verb. In second question, we thought we should invite the Chakrabortis too. In this sentence, the noun clause is we should invite the Chakrabortis too, and that is also the subject of the verb. In third, our next step will now depend on what the opposition say at the meeting tomorrow. Will now depend on what the opposition says at the meeting tomorrow is a complement of a verb. Means will now to till tomorrow is our noun clause, and that is the complement of a verb. Next, we hope that you achieve all your goals. That you achieve all your goals is a noun clause, and that is subject of the verb. In fifth, the nobleman felt that the king had been unfair. That the king had been unfair is our noun clause, and that is the subject of the verb. Sixth, the fact that she has recovered so fast from her illness is heartening. That she has recovered so fast from her illness is heartening, that is the noun clause, and it is subject of the verb.